y'all, welcome back to the channel. I'm Chrissy and this is Barefoot in the Garden. Before we get into the worm farming, y'all, I just wanted to show you these beauties. These are the lavender and bright white gomphrenias. They are so freaking beautiful, like little cotton balls of brightness. I just wanted to show you guys how beautiful they are. They took a long time to get to this point. I think 100+ days, but look at them. Beautiful. We got a lot of questions about worm farming. What is worm farming? Why are you doing it? And what are the benefits of worm farming? So I thought that I would make a short video, maybe a long video, on why I decided to take on worm farming. So in my last video, I shared my experience with ordering the worms, with the first batch coming in dead. And since that video, we've gotten our replacement worms in. They were alive, they were stressed, they were really stressed. The way that you will know that the worms are stressed is they'll kind of clump up in a ball in the peat moss within the bag. So they were clumped up in a ball, so I didn't even get like an unboxing video filmed. I just brought them in, got their bin set up for them, and put them inside. I wanted to film the setup video, right, of me putting together the worm bin so you guys could kind of like go through the journey from start to finish with me. I didn't get that filmed because, like I said, they were really stressed, and my first priority wasn't to put on the camera and start filming. My first priority was to get them into the bin so that this journey can be a success and not just the video. So I found the 10-gallon shallow bins. You can do this with any type of bin that you would like, a Sterilite, bigger size bin, but I just like the shape of these ones. I feel like it'll be more easy for me to lift up and move. So we got them set up. Let me take you guys inside of the bin so you could just see kind of what's going on in there. I made sure to drill holes all along the top for ventilation. This is a must. They need to breathe. I see some fruit flies. That's something that you want to look for. You don't really want to have fruit flies. These were frozen apples that I added in earlier. That's the only thing that I've added in since I established the bins. But I pretty much did the lasagna method. And like I said, I'll do this all again for y'all in the next video when we set up the second bin. But I don't see any worms on top other than these guys, which is a good sign. You don't really want clumps of worms just laid across the top of the soil. By them not being on the top of the soil, that means that they're underneath eating whatever is down there. So they're burrowing back down, but that's what a red wiggler looks like. They're pretty small right now. Hopefully they'll plump up here pretty soon. I don't really want to disturb them since I don't see any other clusters, just those guys. At least you're able to get a look at them. And that's a really good sign. You know, they're moving. They're not moving like this one. Okay. Yeah, they're moving. I guess I'll start with the why question. Why are you worm farming? What are you doing? So worm farming is pretty much just the farming, right? No, I'm just kidding. So worm farming is pretty much this: keeping a large amount of worms and using them for your composters. So this is another way to cut back on your food waste. You can feed your worms pretty much all of your food scraps, all of your fresh food scraps, let me put it that way. You don't want to put in chicken, cheese, dairy. There's certain things that you don't compost when using composting worms, but it's just another way for us to eliminate our food waste. When you eliminate your food waste, you feed it to the worms, they give you back this wonderful product called worm castings. And what worm castings is pretty much like the best fertilizer you can feed your plants, or one of the best fertilizers you can feed your vegetable plants, your trees. Everything loves worm castings. They pretty much just break down those fresh organic materials that you feed them. They break that down, they poop it out, or they, they poop it out, and they create this thing that we like to call worm castings, which is just like organic matter. That's really, really, really rich. There's a lot of different ways to do this. A lot of backyard farmers, urban homesteaders, backyard gardeners, a lot of them like to use this method, which is the double bin method. There's many different ways that you can do worm farming, so don't think that this is like the way that you have to do it. This is just the way that I decided to start out. I might change a little bit as I go, but this is my first bin. This is an idea for you if you want to start small. 100 worms went in here, and you can build and stack on top of this to build your worm farm. We chose to use red wigglers. You can purchase this worm at a lot of your local feed stores. I know some pet stores carry red wigglers. There are many other types of worms that you can do the same deal with, but the different breeds of worms, they all kind of serve different purposes. And the reason why a lot of people like to go with red wigglers is because of the way that they like to live. They like to dwell on the surface, or towards the surface and the top soils of the ground or the compost piles. So it's easier to feed that way, to feed on the surface, and that they're right there to get straight to composting for you. If you were to purchase something like a European nightcrawler, they like to dwell deeper in the ground, so they would be more deeper at the bottom of your compost bin. And you would have to kind of like incorporate the waste and all the kitchen scraps into the soil, versus just with the red wigglers, you can just lay the food scraps right on top and the worms are right there to enjoy. That's one of the main reasons why I think a lot of people like to do their composting bins with red wigglers. There are other varieties or breeds of worms. You can just do a simple Google search and they will pull up all of those different breeds for you. My videos are just gonna focus on red wigglers because that's what we have here on our homestead. There are certain things that you definitely need to take in mind if you're interested in doing this kind of a setup, because like with me, we're out in the middle of nature, rocking it out, but there's a lot of night crawlers, a lot of large predators, a lot of four-legged animals that wander and discover these grounds at nighttime. And I'm just worried with such like a low setup that they might want to jump up in here and see what's inside of this bin, because it might be giving off an aroma of kitchen scraps. One way that I'm trying to combat them being able to sense the smell of the kitchen scraps in the bin is just by laying a good amount of compost, maybe 1.5 inches of compost on top of those kitchen scraps. And that's a good way to like deter the smell. I'm trying not to lose these guys. I'm gonna go to the trailer and get a bungee cord and run it across the top of it too, just to secure it on there, just in case something does want to come and tussle with it. They won't be able to get the lid off of it. When I set up my next bin, I'm gonna take you guys along with that so you can kind of see how I drilled the holes in these bins. But I just want to try to explain it to you the best way that I can. With these bins, I put one inside of the other. The one that the worms are in, which is the top one, I drilled holes all along the bottom of it so that once those worm castings start filling up the top bin, they'll come out of the holes in the bottom of the bin and they'll start filling up this bottom bin. So it's kind of like, instead of having to sift through the compost in the top bin for your worm castings, you can kind of just keep adding your food on top and then the castings will come out on the bottom. Some people even choose to put like a little spout either on the side or on the bottom so that they can just turn it on and off when they want to get some of that liquid worm casting out of there. What do they call it? They call it something. Worm casting juice. What do they call it? There's a name for it. Y'all tell me. Drop it down in the comment section. What do they call that worm casting juice? It's the best fertilizer for your plants. That's all I know. So this is 2 of the 4 bins that I want to have within the next week. I'm just going to divide the worms that are in here. I'm going to half it and put them in the other one. And that way I can get some producing in here and get some producing in here. Hopefully they'll both reproduce and we'll be able to set up some more bins within the next couple of months. I want to stop for a moment and say thank you to all the new subscribers that have joined the gardening community and subscribed to the channel. Welcome to the Barefoot Tribe. If you ever feel the need to donate to the homestead so that we can keep producing really nice and comforting content for you, you can always donate to our channel. Just check the description box and all the information will be there for you. We have a small homestead in Texas, zone 8B9A, and we just like to connect with nature and do our gardening thing and grow food for our family. So once again, thanks for subscribing and welcome to the family. So I hope that I covered everything that you guys were wondering. If I didn't, there will be more content like this. But if you did really enjoy this type of footage and this kind of information, I know it's new for my channel, go ahead and hit the like button for us so we can get this video going through the algorithm. We're really trying to build our audience and you guys are just doing such a great job commenting and sharing, and we love you guys so much. So like I said, if I forgot anything, drop it down in the comment section and we'll cover it on the next video. But until next time, y'all, keep loving life, keep growing your own food, and grand rising to all.